Hello guys, I hope this video finds you well. A couple things I want to talk about today. One of the things is while I have long realized the importance of Chinese educational system and the need for special attention on a merit base for those that take on roles in Chinese leadership, I was unaware of some of the unique attributes of this, one of which is what I want to talk about. Back in the day, anybody, and it still holds true to this day, anybody can join the Chinese government. You can become a member of the Communist Party of China through merit and effort. You have to prove your value, and it's a long, hard slosh to get to that point. But one of the things that has been historically present is this requirement in dynastic past that the Chinese candidates for work within the local governments had to be able to compose poetry on the fly of value. And I found that fascinating. It's something that's not really talked about at all in the West. This idea that for you to qualify to serve in Chinese government in any kind of capacity, you had to be able to compose poetry on the fly. And so the examiner would come on over and say, give me a poem about, and then he would pick 3 or 4 random things, and you would have to compose a poem on the fly. For instance, that would be like asking me, all right, please go ahead and compose a poem about snails, flowers, and midnight. And I'd have to compose a poem. You try it. You in the audience, compose a poem about a 57 Chevy, a bird with red plumage, and frying bacon on the stove in a kitchen. Go. Why is this significant? Well, it turns out that psychopaths and narcissists are unable to do it. It's a difficult task for sure, but their brains are not wired in such a way that ever lends them to be able to do it. So this test automatically expels narcissists and psychopaths from government and leadership positions. And I, for one, have found that fascinating. I found that completely fascinating. Moving on. I've been paying attention to this tariff stuff, after all, because I'm intimately involved in it right now, unfortunately. I've got projects going on that's going to the United States, unfortunately. And the tariffs are huge, unfortunately. And I'm dealing with it, unfortunately. So I've been paying a lot of attention to it. And it's one thing I've known, of course, is that America is just a small part of the export market for China. But if you watch American news, you'll be unaware of this. They'll be saying, well, America is China's largest trading partner, blah, 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 blah. No, it's not. I think it's number 3, maybe number 4. It's a large trading partner, but it's not the largest. And of the amount, it's pretty trivial. And Pepe Escobar, brought something up. Now, I generally say that America, or the Chinese exports to the United States is around 3%, around 4% if you consider 3% by volume, 4% by value. Pepe mentioned that in Hong Kong, the port of Hong Kong, the percentage of ships going to the United States hovers between 2% and 4.5%. It goes up and it goes down. And that pretty much gels up to what I've been saying all along. The United States is not that big of a trading partner with China. Of course, you have the port of Qingdao, and you've got the port of Shanghai, and you've got the port of Canton, and a lot of other stuff going on. But anybody who tries to bullshit you and say that, without American exports, China would collapse is a fool. It's just not the case. It's just not the situation at all. Moving on. I was asked about Farsight. I have a lot of respect for Farsight. I've read a number of books. Monagle, I believe, was the fellow who wrote some of these books, and he was a member of Farsight, maybe even established it. I can't remember the details. And they found out some very interesting stuff. And I want to say something about their remote viewing exercises. Keep in mind that consciousness is your experience within this reality, and everybody has a different experience. And your reality is not a shared reality. The template is shared. So if you are remote viewing the past or the future, you are remote viewing your past upon a shared template and your future on a shared template, not the past or the future of another consciousness. So if you can imagine a blanket, a large blanket, and you are a worm going on this blanket, well, guys, that worm goes from point A to point B and then stops. And another worm in another part of the blanket may go to point C to point D. Your futures might be the same or it might not. And that's the same way with remote viewing. We just don't know. We just don't know. So with this in mind, keep it well understood that their results might not jive up with your reality. It jives up with some reality, but not necessarily yours. Okay? So I just wanted to spell that out, just in case some of you might be a little confused about that subject. Okay. Moving on to another subject. I wrote in a latest post concerning maybe shutting down Metallic Man. It's just musings, guy. Don't freak out about it, okay? Don't freak out about it. It's just musings. I might shut it down, I might not. It's certainly changing. But I just wanted to throw things out. Who knows? I might die tomorrow. Unlikely, but who knows? So I just want you guys to know that if suddenly you're sending emails or emails to me I'm not answering, or comments and they're not being posted, chances are I might not be around. So you guys should all be aware of that. Nothing lasts forever. Nothing lasts forever. And I might as well mention it now because who knows what might happen in my future. I'm not saying anything is going to happen, but, sooner or later you got to, throw things on the table. And that's kind of what I'm doing right now. So don't you all worry about this stuff. It's just the way it works, okay? And I'm just kind of throwing stuff out so that you kind of know about this. Moving on. I hope you're enjoying the Sir Whiskerton series. I've spent a lot of time on this. It's getting crazier and crazier. It's actually pretty good, and I'm pretty proud of it. It's kind of like my way to talk about human nature and reality. And it doesn't have to be all serious and whatever. It can be fun, and that's what Sir Whiskerton's all about. The importance of naps. Good stuff, guys. And I'm hoping you're enjoying it. I also want to say that when I post the articles, I have a daily article going on. And generally I throw some videos and stuff in there. I try to keep it topical. There's so much bullshit out there, just really so much bullshit. So I'm trying to control the bullshit level down a few pegs. So I don't want you to get too caught up. And, I put stuff in there. I'm not necessarily in agreement with everything I'm putting in there, but you guys got to understand. You got to see the points of view of everybody to understand your point of view relative to everything else. And that's all I'm kind of saying. Okay, moving on. I'm still fighting this cold. It seems to go away, and then it seems to come back, and it seems to go away, and then it seems to come back, and it seems to go away, and then it's like, Christ almighty. Give me a break, all right? It's driving me nuts. So my throat's a little raspy. You got it. That's what's going on. So I'm still fighting this damn thing. Crazy ass. There's a lot of... Okay, moving on. There's a lot of stuff, people talking about war with China, war with China, war with China. Guys, do you really think the United States can fight a war with China and prevail? Do you really think so? Sure, the United States can try out of lunacy, but it's not going to prevail. China is one tough cookie, guys. I mean, y'all don't know how tough it is. They just do not play. So, just want to say that out there. So don't be all caught up in the fear mongering of, oh my God, there's going to be World War III. What Trump's doing right now is he is trying to start a decoupling process, not realizing that China is ready for it, and they said, okay, we're decoupling. There you go. We're decoupled. And Trump's like, whoa, wait a second. I want you to decouple on my timetable, not on yours. And I'm like, no, we decoupled. It's done. Bye. And that's what's going on. So it's pretty crazy, right? So that's kind of what's going on from my point of view right now. And I can be wrong, right? I can be wrong. Things are going to start getting pretty dicey pretty quick in the States because so many things are imported. And Trump is kind of counting, him and the neocons are kind of counting by placing so much blame on China that any discomfort will be blamed on China. And the thing is, China says, okay, we stopped. Okay, there you go. You have it. It's all stopped. It's kind of hard to blame them now. So it's a little bit of a clusterfuck right now. So just keep that in mind. Okay, that's enough. Moving on. Consider history and consider the idea that there might be multiple different histories depending upon your consciousness and point of view, just like there are different multiple futures depending upon your consciousness and point of view. And I just want to say that out there because it makes things much easier for you to understand if you understand that that's the way things work. Okay? So just keep that in mind. I should say something here about the domain commander, so I'm going to move on. Okay, moving on here. I want to say a couple things about the domain commander. Domain represents a society of consciousness that occupies various physical containers in various locations of this reality. They are aware of alternative and other realities just as I profess. But their ownership is associated with this primary template for whatever it's worth. And I want you to consider that. Okay? And with that, people, I want you all to take care. Know that I believe in you. Be kind to dogs and cats. Treat others with some dignity and respect. Eat well. Exercise a little bit. Choose water over soda. And other basic stuff like that. And get a lot of sleep. You owe it to yourself. Like Sir Whiskerton says, life is hard, then you nap. Take care, people. Know I believe in you. Bye-bye.